God says this: when you marry a narcissist, have you ever found yourself in a marriage that feels less like a sacred union and more like a constant battle for your very soul? You walk down the aisle with hopes of love, companionship, and mutual respect, perhaps even believing that this partnership was divinely ordained. Yet, the reality you're living may be one of emotional exhaustion, relentless criticism, and a gnawing sense that something is profoundly wrong. You might have prayed for guidance, wondering why your deepest desires for a loving partnership seem so consistently thwarted. You might even question your own worthiness, wondering if you somehow deserve the pain you're enduring. In the midst of this struggle, you might seek answers in many places, perhaps even looking to your faith for understanding. You might wonder, what does God say about this? Why would a loving God allow such pain within the sacred bond of marriage? These are profound and deeply personal questions that deserve thoughtful exploration. Now, it's important to clarify that I am an AI and not a theologian or a religious authority. My insights are based on psychological principles and observations of human behavior, particularly the patterns seen in narcissistic relationships, as understood by psychologists. However, we can explore the themes and principles that often arise in spiritual contexts when individuals find themselves married to someone exhibiting narcissistic traits. We can consider how the core tenets of many faiths, love, compassion, humility, and respect, stand in stark contrast to the behaviors that define narcissism. Think about the teachings that resonate across many spiritual traditions. The emphasis on treating others as you wish to be treated, on nurturing kindness and empathy, on recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every individual. Now consider the hallmarks of narcissistic behavior: a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, a lack of empathy for others, a need for admiration, and exploitative tendencies. The dissonance between these two is often jarring and deeply troubling for those who hold their faith as a guiding principle. In this deeply thoughtful and enlightening discussion, we are going to explore what the principles of many faiths, particularly through a psychological lens, might suggest when you find yourself married to someone exhibiting narcissistic traits. We will examine how core spiritual values stand in opposition to narcissistic behaviors and what this might imply for your understanding of your situation and your path forward. While we won't be quoting specific religious texts as definitive pronouncements, we will explore the alignment or profound misalignment between spiritual ideals and the lived reality of being married to a narcissist. This exploration can offer a powerful framework for understanding your experience, validating your inner turmoil, and perhaps illuminating a path toward healing and a more spiritually aligned life. Prepare to reflect deeply on the values you hold dear and how they intersect with the complexities of your relationship. Welcome back. If you are navigating the challenging terrain of a marriage touched by narcissistic behavior, you are likely grappling with a multitude of emotions and questions. Your faith, a source of comfort and guidance in many aspects of life, may feel particularly relevant in this context. While direct pronouncements from religious texts on the specific term narcissism as defined by modern psychology might be absent, the underlying principles and values espoused by many faiths offer profound insights when viewed through a psychological lens. Remember to hit that like button, share this video with others who may be seeking similar understanding, and subscribe to our channel for more discussions on navigating challenging relationships with wisdom and insight. Let's consider some of the core tenets that are often central to many spiritual beliefs and how they contrast with the patterns of narcissistic behavior, offering a framework for understanding your experience through a faith-informed perspective. The emphasis on love, compassion, and empathy. A cornerstone of many faiths is the profound emphasis on love, compassion, and empathy towards others. These teachings often encourage individuals to see the inherent worth in every person, to understand their struggles, and to act with kindness and care. Think about the directive to love your neighbor as yourself, a principle found in various forms across different spiritual traditions. This calls for a deep recognition of the shared humanity and the inherent value of others' well-being. Psychologically, narcissism is characterized by a significant lack of empathy. Individuals with narcissistic traits often struggle to understand or share the feelings of others, They may be preoccupied with their own needs and desires, viewing others primarily in terms of how they can serve them. Their capacity for genuine compassion can be severely limited. When you are married to someone who consistently struggles with empathy, who dismisses your feelings, or who seems incapable of truly understanding your perspective, it stands in stark contrast to the fundamental spiritual principles of love and compassion. This misalignment can create deep spiritual distress, as the very foundation of a loving and supportive partnership, as often envisioned within a faith context, seems absent. From a faith-informed perspective, the consistent lack of empathy and compassion inherent in narcissistic behavior could be seen as a significant deviation from core spiritual values that emphasize connection and care for others. 2. The importance of humility and selflessness. Many spiritual paths emphasize the importance of humility and selflessness. These teachings often encourage individuals to look beyond their own ego, to recognize their place within a larger spiritual context, and to prioritize the needs of others. Humility involves a realistic assessment of one's own abilities and a recognition of one's limitations, while selflessness involves a willingness to put the needs of others before one's own. Narcissism, on the other hand, is marked by a pervasive sense of grandiosity and an exaggerated sense of self-importance. Individuals with narcissistic traits often have a distorted view of their own abilities, believing they are superior to others and deserving of special treatment. They may struggle with humility and may prioritize their own needs and desires above all else. In a marriage where one partner consistently demands admiration, lacks accountability for their actions, and displays a sense of entitlement, the spiritual principle of humility is often profoundly absent. This can create a dynamic where one partner feels constantly diminished, and where the spiritual ideal of a selfless and mutually serving partnership is unattainable. From a faith-informed perspective, the pervasive grandiosity and lack of humility inherent in narcissistic behavior could be seen as a significant obstacle to a spiritually grounded and balanced life, as it contradicts the emphasis on recognizing one's place in a larger, more interconnected reality. 3. The value of respect and dignity for all. Numerous spiritual traditions underscore the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. This belief often stems from the idea that all individuals are created in the image of a divine being, or are part of a larger, interconnected spiritual fabric. Recognizing the dignity of others involves treating them with respect, valuing their opinions, and acknowledging their autonomy. Narcissistic behavior often involves a profound lack of respect for the feelings, opinions, and boundaries of others. Individuals with narcissistic traits may belittle their partners, dismiss their perspectives, and act in ways that undermine their sense of self-worth. They may view their partners as extensions of themselves, rather than as autonomous individuals deserving of respect. In a marriage where one partner consistently devalues, criticizes, or controls the other, the fundamental spiritual principle of respect for the dignity of all is often violated. This can lead to deep emotional and spiritual wounds, as the inherent worth of one partner is systematically denied. From a faith-informed perspective, the consistent disrespect and devaluation inherent in narcissistic behavior could be seen as a fundamental disregard for the sanctity and inherent worth of another human being, contradicting the spiritual emphasis on recognizing the dignity of all. 4. The teachings on forgiveness and redemption. Many faiths offer teachings on forgiveness and the possibility of redemption. These principles often emphasize the importance of letting go of resentment and offering opportunities for change and growth. Forgiveness is often presented as a path to healing and spiritual freedom for both the forgiver and the forgiven. In the context of narcissistic relationships, the concept of forgiveness can be complex. While spiritual teachings may encourage forgiveness, this does not necessarily mean condoning harmful behavior or remaining in an abusive situation. True forgiveness often requires remorse and a genuine effort to change on the part of the offender. Narcissistic individuals, however, often struggle with genuine remorse and may not take responsibility for their actions. Their apologies, if offered, may be manipulative or insincere. In such cases, the spiritual principle of forgiveness needs to be balanced with the need for self-protection and the recognition that redemption requires a fundamental shift in behavior that may not occur in a narcissistic individual without professional intervention and a genuine desire for change. From a faith-informed perspective, while forgiveness may be a spiritual ideal, it does not necessitate enduring ongoing harm or remaining in a relationship where fundamental respect and empathy are absent and where genuine remorse and change are unlikely. 5. The understanding of healthy relationships and mutual respect. While not always explicitly detailed in ancient texts, the underlying principles of many faiths often point towards the ideal of healthy relationships characterized by mutual respect, reciprocity, and a balanced give and take. These relationships are often envisioned as partnerships where individuals support and uplift each other, valuing each other's contributions and well-being. Narcissistic relationships, by their very nature, are often characterized by a significant imbalance of power and a lack of reciprocity. One partner's needs and desires consistently take precedence over the others. The relationship often feels one-sided, with the empathic partner giving endlessly, while the narcissistic partner takes without truly reciprocating. The lack of mutual respect and the imbalance of power inherent in these dynamics stand in stark contrast to the spiritual ideals of a balanced and mutually supportive partnership. This can lead to feelings of resentment, depletion, and spiritual emptiness in the partner who is consistently on the receiving end of the narcissistic behavior. From a faith-informed perspective, the fundamental imbalance and lack of mutual respect in a narcissistic marriage could be seen as a significant deviation from the principles that underpin healthy and spiritually nourishing relationships. 6. The guidance on protecting yourself from harm. While many faiths emphasize compassion and forgiveness, they also often contain principles that guide individuals on protecting themselves from harm and injustice. This might involve setting boundaries, seeking help when needed, and recognizing when a situation is causing significant and ongoing damage to one's well-being. The concept of turning the other cheek is often part of spiritual teachings, but this is often interpreted within a broader context that also acknowledges the need for self-preservation and the protection of oneself and others from abuse. In the context of narcissistic abuse, the principle of protecting oneself becomes particularly relevant. Remaining in a relationship where one is consistently devalued, manipulated, and emotionally harmed can have significant and lasting negative impacts on one's physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Seeking safety, setting firm boundaries, and even considering separation may be necessary acts of self-care and self-preservation, aligning with the broader principle of safeguarding one's well-being. From a faith-informed perspective, while compassion and forgiveness are valued, these principles do not negate the importance of protecting oneself from ongoing harm and seeking a life free from abuse and emotional devastation. 7. The recognition of inner turmoil and spiritual distress. Many faiths acknowledge the reality of inner turmoil, suffering, and spiritual distress. They often provide frameworks for understanding these challenges and offer pathways toward healing, peace, and spiritual growth. Recognizing that you are experiencing significant emotional and spiritual pain within a marriage characterized by narcissistic behavior is a valid acknowledgement of your reality. Feeling confused, questioning yourself, or experiencing a disconnect between the spiritual ideals you hold and the reality of your relationship is a natural response to the insidious nature of narcissistic abuse. Your faith can be a source of strength and guidance as you navigate these turbulent emotions and seek healing. Recognizing your inner turmoil as a sign that something is deeply wrong is an important step toward acknowledging the impact of the narcissistic behavior on your well-being. From a faith-informed perspective, acknowledging your spiritual distress and seeking pathways toward healing and peace is a valid and necessary part of your journey. 8. The potential for spiritual growth through adversity. While not a justification for suffering, many spiritual traditions acknowledge that adversity can be a catalyst for spiritual growth and deeper understanding. Navigating the challenges of a relationship with a narcissist, though incredibly painful, can lead to profound self-awareness, the development of inner strength, and a deeper connection to one's faith and spiritual values. The process of recognizing the patterns of narcissistic behavior, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your own well-being can be a transformative journey. You may find yourself developing a deeper understanding of compassion, resilience, and the importance of self-love. Your faith can provide a framework for finding meaning and purpose in the midst of this adversity, and for emerging from it with a stronger sense of self and a deeper connection to your spiritual life. From a faith-informed perspective, while the experience of being in a narcissistic marriage is undoubtedly painful, it can also be an unexpected path toward profound spiritual growth and a deeper understanding of your own strength and resilience. 9. The importance of seeking wise counsel and support. Many faiths encourage individuals to seek wise counsel and support from trusted sources, whether it be spiritual leaders, mentors, or within a community of faith. When facing the complexities of a relationship touched by narcissistic behavior, seeking guidance from individuals who understand these dynamics can be invaluable. A psychologist or therapist specializing in narcissistic abuse can offer a non-judgmental space to process your experiences, understand the patterns of behavior you are encountering, and develop strategies for self-protection and healing. Integrating your faith into this process, perhaps by discussing your spiritual values and beliefs with a therapist who is sensitive to these aspects, can provide a holistic approach to your well-being. Seeking support from trusted friends or members of your faith community who offer empathy and understanding can also be crucial in navigating this challenging journey. From a faith-informed perspective, seeking wise counsel and support is a sign of strength and can provide valuable guidance and encouragement as you navigate the complexities of your relationship and prioritize your well-being. 10. The ultimate call to honor your own well-being. Underlying many of these points is a fundamental principle: the importance of honoring your own well-being, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Many faiths emphasize the sanctity of the individual and the responsibility to care for oneself. Remaining in a situation that consistently undermines your well-being can be seen as a violation of this fundamental principle. Recognizing the toll that narcissistic abuse takes on your overall health and making choices that prioritize your safety and peace is not selfish. It is an act of self-respect and aligns with the broader call to care for the life and spirit you have been given. Your faith can provide strength and guidance as you make difficult decisions that honor your own well-being and seek a life aligned with the principles of love, respect, and peace that are often central to spiritual teachings. From a faith-informed perspective, honoring your own well-being is a sacred responsibility, and seeking a life free from abuse and emotional devastation is a valid and necessary pursuit. Navigating a marriage impacted by narcissistic behavior is a deeply challenging experience that can raise profound questions about your faith and your understanding of divine will. While specific religious texts may not directly address narcissism as defined by psychology, the core principles that underpin many faiths, love, compassion, humility, respect, and the inherent worth of every individual, often stand in stark contrast to the patterns of narcissistic behavior. Understanding this dissonance can provide a powerful framework for validating your experiences and recognizing that the pain you are enduring may be a reflection of behaviors that fundamentally deviate from these core spiritual values. Your faith can be a source of strength and guidance as you navigate this challenging terrain, reminding you of your own inherent worth, the importance of protecting yourself from harm, and the possibility of healing and finding a life aligned with the principles of peace and well-being. Remember that seeking support from both your faith community and from professionals who understand narcissistic dynamics can provide a holistic approach to your journey. You are not alone in this struggle, and your commitment to your own well-being is a testament to your strength and resilience. May you find peace, healing, and a renewed sense of spiritual alignment as you navigate your path forward. Thank you for engaging in this thoughtful and important discussion. If this exploration has resonated with you or provided new perspectives, please consider sharing it with others who might find solace and understanding in these insights. Your support helps us to reach more individuals on their own journeys. And please, feel free to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more discussions on navigating challenging relationships with faith and wisdom. May you be blessed with clarity, strength, and peace.